Today we're going to take a tour of Harbor Pointe Condominiums, which is located inside the greater neighborhood of Stillwaters on the southeast side of Lake Martin. There are tons of Stillwaters amenities. Obviously you got the golf course. It's a semi-private golf course, but there's lots of restaurants. Like you've got Prime Steakhouse that just opened. You also have the Landing at Harbor Pointe, which is waterfront. You've got the Daiquiri Bar, which is just behind me, which is also waterfront. Harbor Pointe Marina is inside Stillwaters, and you have access to the neighborhood community amenities of Stillwaters, like the pickleball court and the neighborhood pool. And as far as where you are on the water, all the Stillwaters things apply, which means you're close. You're on the southeast side, so you're about 35 minutes away from the stadium at Auburn. You're on the east side, so you're close to Georgia. But by water, you're also close not only to the things inside Stillwaters that I already mentioned, but like Chuck's Marina, get a pizza there. You're relatively close to Chimney Rock and Acapulco Rock. So the stuff you'd find on the southeast side of the lake. So Harbor Pointe is made up of 5 separate buildings, and everybody calls them by the letters that they are. And so if you are in the water and looking at the Harbor Pointe from the water, on the 3 o'clock side, let's start with them and go clockwise. On the 3 o'clock side, the A building is the one that looks right over behind me. It looks right over the marina, right over the marina. The B building rather, it looks south and looks right over the beach. The C, as you go around the curve clockwise, the C building looks almost directly west, has beautiful sunsets in the C building. And then D and E are on up the slough, and so they have varying degrees of that western view inside that slough. Okay, prices. What do prices look like in general at Harbor Pointe when I'm making this video? Well, some 2-bedroom units have sold recently. 3 of them sold, and they sold between about $600,000 and about $620,000. And 12 3-bedroom units sold here in Harbor Pointe in the last 24 months. And those sold from about $560,000 on the low side to about $880,000 on the high side. Another thing I sometimes get questioned about is, do prices vary as the floors go? Like the higher up does it get more expensive? And I think that answer is probably one where at Harbor Pointe there's only 100 units total here. And so you got a real small sample pool. But I did look in the last 24-month stretch, and one of the units, Unit 304, sold both in the B building that looks over the beach and also in the E building, which is the farthest back up in the slough. Now, the B building that looks over the beach was a 2-bedroom unit, and it sold for $600,000. The 3-bedroom, the one in the E building was a 3-bedroom unit, and it sold for $700,000. So clearly, the number of bedrooms trumps the view in between those 2 buildings. And also, the B building that had 2 bedrooms did not have a boat slip. So again, boat slips are a huge factor when you're looking at Harbor Pointe and anywhere else. Okay, so what affects prices inside Harbor Pointe? Well, that's a really good question, because number one, I'd say it's like everything on Lake Martin: view, privacy, and location. The view is a big factor in Harbor Pointe condos, like anywhere. And so I'd say that the D and the E buildings, I've noticed a trend because they're farther back up in the slough, do tend to sell for a little less than the A, B, and C buildings. And so like I said, the last 2 years, about 15 have sold, and that's about average, I'd say, at Harbor Pointe. About 7 of these condos sell per year, depending on all of the various buildings. Now, if you own a spot in Harbor Pointe and you're wondering what these generalities mean to you and the market in general, I'd love to help you out. I could give you a valuation for your condo, and it's no charge, no strings attached, but it is nice to know how the economy and how the overall market might have affected yours. But you also have amenities for Harbor Pointe that are just specific to Harbor Pointe. Like I said, the amenities are really nice. Like they have this big, huge beach that looks south over Blue Creek that a lot of people like to hang out on the beach. They also have a pool that I'm right by that they keep really nicely and well done. So if you're driving in your boat into the marina, you'll see the pool and the beach there on your left as you drive in. Also, as far as the Harbor Pointe amenities go, there's a grilling pavilion that's really nice. Again, they keep everything high and tight here at Harbor Pointe. One thing to note at Harbor Pointe, the boat slips are assigned, so they're not public boat slips, and not every Harbor Pointe unit has a deeded boat slip that comes with it. So that's one thing you really need to check when you're looking at Harbor Pointe. And speaking of boat slips, what I looked up in when I'm making this video now, in the last 2 years, about 15 Harbor Point units have been sold. Of those 15, 4 did not have boat slips, 11 did. So, you know, easily 2/3 of them have boat slips in that 2-year period. And you're also right next to the marina. It's Harbor Point Marina in case you didn't want to have a slip, but you just wanted to keep your boat here at the marina. And I also got a page on my website that lists all the Harbor Point condos that are currently for sale. It's updated just minute by minute, but like a bunch of times during the day. And I also have a page on my website under neighborhoods for Stillwaters, where you can look and see everything that's for sale in Stillwaters, homes, lots, condos, off-water homes, everything. And that's on lakemartinvoice.com, and you go look on neighborhoods. What sort of condo buyer or what sort of person would like to be in Harbor Point? What I normally tell my condo buyers is if your priorities are that you want really nice amenities, something that they keep it high and tight, and you'd like to be inside Stillwaters, you don't want rentals, I think Harbor Point might be a good option for you. If it were me and I had a Harbor Point condo, what I'd probably do is I would go all in on the Stillwaters and Harbor Point lifestyle, meaning I would definitely want to have a slip, I think personally, but I'd also keep my boat at Harbor Point Marina. That's what I do. I keep my boat at a marina, and so that way they could splash it for me when I'm coming down and getting ready. I also would think about having a golf cart. I'm personally not a golfer, but I have a lot of friends that are, and so I think if you're inside Stillwaters and you had a golf cart, I think that'd be cool because you'd be able to ride up to play golf, number one, I guess. And then number two, you'd be able to go to all the restaurants and drive on your golf cart. And I know it's kind of, it's just a golf cart, right? You might as well be riding a car, but I don't know, it's kind of fun to ride a golf cart. So I think I'd probably have one of those if I was here in Harbor Point. And a huge thing about Harbor Point that's different than a lot of them is they don't allow short-term rentals. So that may or may not be a good thing for you. I mean, if you do want to be able to short-term rent your condo, Harbor Point's not the place for you because they have covenants against that. But if that's your thing, if you don't want to have short-term rentals in a place that you buy, it could be a good fit for you. And I'm on a mission to be the most helpful real estate agent on Lake Martin, bar none. And this is how I get a lot of my clients. This is how I make connections with a lot of folks. So if you've got questions, if you're thinking about buying here or thinking about selling here, I'd love to help you out. I would appreciate it. You just give me a call if you think we might be a good fit. And also, please subscribe on YouTube. That's the best zero-cost way to help support my channel and just to let me know that you're getting value out of these videos.